Hello everyone and welcome to the Retro Game Lounge annual holiday special game room and arcade tour. Man, 2017 has been an absolutely amazing year for Retro Game Lounge as a channel and also for me as a collector. Lots of great things that I've added to my collection, both here in the lounge, downstairs in the arcade, and a lot of things I've been scratching off my list, things I've always wanted to own. As usual, we're going to take you around the lounge and use the magic snap, go downstairs to the arcade, give you a full, unfiltered, full access tour. Might have a few surprises along the way, might have a few very special guests, but you're not going to know unless you stay tuned. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the tour started. Alright, here we are in the lounge. Give you a slow pan around the room here. Got some auxiliary lights set up just so we can see everything. Feast your eyes. Left to right, that's where we're at. Okay. Well, I guess we can start right here on the little poster wall. Got some Smash TV action, Double Dragon, one of the old school Nintendo posters. Got the Battle with East Starland, Retro Game Lounge versus the Starling guys, and we kicked their ass. Awesome, they're a good bunch of dudes though. Then we got my RGL letters there. Got it second in Charles for like $5. I just saw those and I just absolutely couldn't resist. I was like, yeah, that's absolutely perfect, man. I gotta have those for the lounge. Okay, so I guess we'll start off with the new stuff first. You might notice there's a few more TVs in here. So, basically what we got over here, I guess first we'll start with the little Sony Trinitron. This is I believe a 20-inch Sony Trinitron, and what it is running is my Super Nintendo and my Nintendo, which have both been modified for component out. And I'll show you a neat little trick here. Got a little video selector, so you can switch back and forth between the two. And they both look super awesome. Special thanks to my buddy Steve for handling my modification duties. He does a really amazing job. These, Nintendo and the Super Nintendo just look absolutely amazing when you go to component, or even more particular RGB out. And it's actually sitting on my OG Nintendo video cart there. The biggest of the three. I've got two more I'll show you in just a second. This is the hardest one to find. Kind of the big daddy of the three, which was made to hold a television. The other two were just more or less made to hold your NES itself, but got room for accessories, things like that. This little door opens. Got some reading material in there, man. We got some Nintendo VHS tapes, some game encyclopedias, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Captain N, Zelda, all kinds of great stuff. And then we move on to the kind of coup de grace of all the televisions in here. These, for those unaware, are called Sony PVMs. That stands for, some people say it's production video monitor, some people say it's professional video monitor. Regardless, these were not sold to the general public. These were only available to professional video editors, TV stations, just anything in the professional market. These were very, very expensive back when they came out. This was basically the absolute apex of CRT technology. These are CRTs, these are not flat screens or anything like that, even though they are, flat in the front, sort of. But this is basically just, like I said, the pinnacle of cathode ray tubes, where these TVs, depending upon the model, I got two different 14 inches here. Different lines of resolution, but I mean, these things can have up to like 650 or 750 lines of resolution, which is nearly double what the standard consumer television had. That was kind of limited by, I think 480 was like the maximum, and that was with later sets, and these are just way beyond that. And as you can see, we got some turbo going on here, man. We got some TurboGrafx on the right there, connected up to the little 8-inch guy. These are 14s, by the way. That's an 8-inch. And then we got some Turbo Duo going on. Let me show you a little neat trick here. Hit this little switch. Switches to Turbo Duo. That's the good thing about these PVMs. They all basically have outputs. So if you want to chain a bunch of these things together, like, old school MTV style, where you had like the wall of televisions and stuff, like a TV station, you can absolutely do that, man. It's just really cool to be able to do this. The TurboGrafx, as an FYI, right now is running RGB, not component, but true RGB via a little output card See if I can pull this out without yanking anything out. It's got a little card you can get on your secondary markets. I'm sure you guys can find that for not much money, $20 or $30. And the Turbo Duo is running just a regular composite out. I haven't had that modified yet, but that is coming soon, probably in 2017 or 2018, excuse me. And then we go over here to kind of the misfit in my PVM. I don't remember the actual model. I think these are like TM or something like that. It's made by JVC, but it's basically JVC's answer to Sony's PVMs. And I gotta be honest with you guys, this particular model, it's a 14-incher, gives my Sony PVMs an absolute run for their money. So if you're able to find one of these JVC monitors, you know, don't sleep on it just because it's not a Sony. I understand Sony's like the benchmark, you know, Sony Trinitron is like the benchmark for these things, but the JVC it absolutely stands up toe-to-toe to the Sony PVMs, in my opinion. We got the beast down there, the Sega Genesis. Got a little Sonic action going on right there. Looks really, really good, man. Like, the camera really isn't doing this justice, guys. If you've never seen a PVM, you know, type monitor in person, you have never seen what a retro game can really look like. Like, you've never seen the caliber, you know, the quality of the picture that these things actually put out, especially if you're running RGB. I mean, it's just, the quality of this picture and the way the colors pop is just absolutely stunning. You know, it looks like it's high definition, but, you know, technically it's not. You know, it's still standard definition. It's just a lot of lines of resolution, making these things look absolutely freaking incredible.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Bucci of Turbo Views and Pinball, aka Spada1A on YouTube. And if we're talking about my best Christmas memory, especially in terms of gaming, I gotta be honest, I'm probably going to go cliche and say Christmas 1986 when I got my Nintendo Entertainment System. I think I have a lot of Christmas gaming memories that are wonderful when I look back at my childhood and stuff. It's always a warm and wonderful feeling, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. But I gotta be honest, Christmas '86, that was amazing. See, that summer, I had seen the Nintendo Entertainment System at an electronics show here in the area. My grandfather was a draftsman for GE Transportation, and he was building trains, and he was totally into anything electronics. And so he would always take me to these shows, and on display was an NES, and I remember it well because there was a little square screen in the corner that had Super Mario Brothers playing. And I was a huge arcade gamer at the time, so I knew what Super Mario Brothers was, and I looked at that screen. I remember staring up at it and thinking, is this the arcade game? And then looking down and seeing it connected to this little gray box and going, is that what's playing that? And then from that moment on, my mind was blown, and I knew I had to have an NES. I asked for it for Christmas, and I got it. And I remember this very well because I ran out before I was allowed to, and I saw the presents under the tree. And I shouldn't say ran out, I tiptoed out because I didn't want to wake anybody up. And I saw the presents. Santa had arrived and gone. And under the tree was a pretty big box. And I went over quietly and I tore the corner, just very nonchalant. And there was a little black sort of grayish square, and I went, I think that's the Nintendo. So then on top of it was a little square about this big. And I tore that corner and there was an even blacker square, and I went, I bet that's a Nintendo game. But you know what? I couldn't tear anymore, because if I did, that would have blown the fact that I had already looked. So I couldn't tell for sure, but I had an inkling. I went back to bed, and I didn't sleep obviously for hours until I heard my mom get up and head to the living room, and then I darted out to the living room. Christmas time, presents, presents, presents. And I grabbed the big box first and I tore it open, and inside was this guy right here. This is not the actual one I got that Christmas, but I got the Nintendo control deck that did not come with a game or anything. It was just this, but it did not matter. Then I tore open the package on top, and guess what? It was Super Mario Brothers. And this is my original Super Mario Brothers. This is the one I opened up Christmas 1986. I don't have the box, but you can see inside the manual here I have written number 1. And that became a Nintendo love affair from that point on. I was just blown away by this system, and getting it was so exciting. So there's my special memory. I mean, I had a lot of great ones. The TurboGrafx CD Christmas, the Sega CD Christmas, my Game Boy, my Atari 2600 Christmas. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful memories of getting systems, which I think is the stuff that really resonates with me the most. But this year, the Nintendo 1986, What can I tell you? I love it. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. I hope it's safe and wonderful and happy, and take care.
So I guess we can go ahead and move on to the Turbo Collection. Let me move my little light over here so you guys can see. There we go. Okay. So, kind of been growing like a totem pole here. Some of this stuff you may have seen last year. I've got a couple of new additions that weren't in last year's tour. We got the Turbo Tap, the Turbo Pad. What do we got over here? We got another Turbo Tap and a Duo Tap. Super rare. We got my 3 TurboGrafx systems, and this guy right here is my original TurboGrafx 16 from 1989. Now, it's not the original box, unfortunately. Like an idiot, like, you know, a lot of you out there, you know, when we were kids, we didn't care about that kind of stuff, and we just threw that stuff away. You know, we didn't think about that kind of thing back then, and just, you know, that's just the way it was. You know, we didn't think these would be collector's items or anything, but got a couple backups there. You know, got the free Bonk one. I don't have the Christmas one with Air Zonk, unfortunately. I'm still looking for that one. Got a couple turbo boosters up there, complete in box. Can never have too many of those. Down there real quick, that's the TurboGrafx CD holder. Holds the TurboGrafx and the CD attachment. And then onto the collection. Got closing in here, guys, as far as, you know, completion, as far as absolution on this collection. I'm kind of in the final stretch here. I'm past the 100 games mark. I think I'm at roughly 110. I haven't counted, honestly, in a little while, but somewhere like 109, 110, something like that, and there's 138 total US release games. Obviously, I'm going for a complete collection because, well, I'm a fucking crazy person, and that's what crazy people do. I got a couple imports there, a couple PC Engine games, but as a rule, I really stick to North America because, you know, that's the system I had. But that being said, you know, don't sleep on the PC Engine. There's a lot of stuff that didn't make the jump across the pond that was actually really awesome. For example, like Super Darius, you know, Fatal Fury, the arcade, even though I can't even play that. Sidearm Special, you know, Final Soldier, you know, I can't wait to play that. I need to get a PC Engine or conversion card to be able to play it, but absolutely looking forward to that.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Aaron motherfucking Strange, and you're watching the Retro Game Lounge Holiday Special, hosted by the delicious and bald Steve Wilkos. Jimbo Fox. Whoops.
And I guess we can move on to the accessories section. As I mentioned earlier, you saw the big Nintendo cabinet, and these are the 2 smaller ones, which you can see is like the exact size of an NES. That's pretty much what they were designed to hold. And I've got some old school Nintendo VHS tapes down there, some of them officially from Nintendo. I got some from Game Informer, you know, some of the Nintendo Power stuff. More of the Game Players tapes. I actually do have a complete collection of those guys, and some of those are really hard to find. Then we got my Nintendo toy chest. Absolutely love this thing, man. It's got art on all 3 sides. You know, some Zelda action, Super Mario Brothers. You know, coming at you from all angles there. Of course, we got the Nintendo Classic in its little case sitting there on top. Figured that's the appropriate place. Then we have the accessory cabinet. You know, kind of one of the rarest parts of my collection, an original Nintendo retail accessory cabinet that I've since filled with accessories, you know, to kind of somewhat simulate what I remember seeing in the store when I was a youngster. All kinds of great approved and unapproved NES and Super NES accessories in there. You know, it's kind of the Wild West back then where basically anybody could make anything. You know, that's not so much the case these days where everything has to be licensed, but some of this stuff is licensed, some of it isn't. You got the zappers, the orange zapper in the box. That one's not easy to find. Satellite NES controllers, the 4-score. You got the zippers right there. Those are actually really good controllers. Freedom Connection, which is nice. You know, it makes anything wireless basically. Some Super Nintendo controllers. 2 of them. Super Pad. The ASCII pad. We got some Game Boy Advance, Game Boy. The laser scope. 2 NES Advantages. Got the duck fucker there, the Pro. If you remember that from Metro Game Hall. Little Super Mario Brothers comic. Of course, the Donkey Kong doll. We gotta have that, even though it looks nothing like the video game, but that's okay. The speed board, one of the most useless accessories ever. And then up top, we got some system boxes. We got my Wii U Wind Waker edition. Got that Killer Instinct Killer Cuts for Super Nintendo. My 3DS. Link Between Worlds Edition. Absolutely love that game. It is literally the reason I bought a 3DS. Little Super Mario Bros. Lunchbox. And N64 game holders. Of course, the Super Scope, complete. Got the power set in there. This is a new edition. Set this up so you can see it. It's kind of the end of the level, you know, the end of old school Super Mario Brothers level, and it's designed to hold your amiibos. Not really an amiibo guy, honestly, guys. I only have a couple of them just for you know, decoration purposes here in the lounge. But I saw this and I was like, yeah, I've absolutely got to have that. This is fucking cool. Got a Virtual Boy box back there, N64 controller. Of course, we got the lounge sign with the hot pink bulbs in there because you know, it's just how we roll around here. And then we got kind of a totem pole stuff. I honestly need to organize that. Maybe put a bookshelf back there or something. Being kind of lazy about that.
Okay, so epic video game Christmas. For me, it'd have to be 1992, getting the Nintendo Game Boy. I remember first seeing the Game Boy in Dixon's in the UK on like a display stand. I think it had up 4 on like a pedestal. And I remember playing Super Mario Land and thinking, oh my god, this is amazing. And I remember pleading with my parents for the rest of the year to basically try and get myself one for Christmas. And on that day, I remember obviously going downstairs and opening the Game Boy, and I got the non Tetris bundle version, like the pink box, like the solo box version. Because I really wanted to get DuckTales. I wasn't too bothered about the Tetris game, so I got the original Game Boy with DuckTales, Spider-Man 2, and Lemmings. And oh my god, it was just amazing. I remember getting that, and my brother getting the Tetris bundle, and we remember sat up on the settee Christmas Day, and we were basically sitting there playing with our headphones in. Just playing Game Boy all day. It was so cool. I just wanted one so bad, and to be able to take your games on the go was such a new thing back then. I think the Game Boy came out 89, 90, wasn't it? And yeah, I had to wait to 92 to get mine, and it was just it's so cool. All the car journeys, going to see the family over the Christmas break. Took the Game Boy with me in like a plastic Game Boy carry case. And just in the car journeys, it's just so cool. Yeah, Game Boy, 1992, probably the most epic Christmas present ever, and that still stands. So yeah, thanks guys, cheers.
And moving right along, the Bomberman Collection, which hasn't really grown, I don't think really since last year, not really. Just a couple of other, you know, odds and ends and everything, but no extra games, just because there's only a couple that I don't have, and they're really expensive. Like Saturn Bomberman and Second Strike on N64, yeah, those ain't cheap. Got my epic Bomberman pillow, one of a kind, courtesy of my buddy Kyle. We got this guy. Bomberman sample. Hang on, let me see if I can get it to work. You kind of hit it. There we go. Makes the bomb noise. This was just a prototype kind of plushy toy coming out of Japan. Just saw that and absolutely had to have it. The Bomber Shrine there. We got the masks hanging up. We got this. One of the most awesome Christmas presents I've ever received, courtesy of my buddy Aaron Strange. Please check him out on YouTube. That is a one-of-a-kind Aaron Strange original. Aaron happens to be a tattoo artist, and, well, he knows I love Bomberman. I'm just absolutely in love with the character, and he drew this just for me, and I absolutely love it. It's awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Got the only time Bomberman's been on the cover there of Nintendo Power for Bomberman Hero. Bomberman Multitap, Super Bomberman Big Box, the S-Bomb Joey card. Got a couple amiibos up there, just Mario and Luigi. You know, just kind of bought those for nostalgia purposes. Got a Nintendo game rack up there. Remember those from Toys R Us? Super cool. Got some modern stuff over here. We got the Nintendo Switch. Let's see, the new NES Advantage. We got the Wii Mini, the Wii Red, Wii Blues back there. You know, just kind of a mess. You know, just don't have enough room to put everything, but just trying to make room where I can.
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, Retro Game Lounge. It's Kevin here from Happy Beard Games to tell you about my most epic video game Christmas that I can remember. Now, this was back in around, it must have been 1995, because it was before the Nintendo 64 came out, I know that, and that's kind of like my placeholder for what year it was in terms of video games. So it must have been around 1995, and at that time I was 5 years old, and it was Christmas time was coming up, so I was making my list. It was a tradition that I always had in my family, was I would make a Christmas list of things that I'd want for that year, and then I'd put it in a little envelope and mail it off to Santa Claus at the North Pole. So I made this list, and I checked it twice, but I didn't check it 3 times. But the things that were on that list, I actually got from Santa that year. I got games like Super Return of the Jedi, I got games like Super Mario Kart, and Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. These are games that I love, but there was one thing that I forgot to put on that list, and as a kid, I remember I sealed the envelope. I thought I gave it to my parents to give to Santa, and I finally remembered that there was this movie that I saw, and I really enjoyed it, and the movie was Alien 3. Wow, what a good movie for kids, right? That movie's depressing. But I really liked Alien 3 as a kid, and I liked the Alien series, so I found out there was an Alien 3 video game on Super Nintendo, and I had rented it previously. But oh no, it's Christmas time, it's Santa, you gotta be good. I didn't want a rated R movie game on that list, but I really wanted the game, so I snuck back, opened that letter very carefully, even though it wasn't really that careful, and I wrote Alien 3 on that list. Did I get Alien 3? No, I did not. And later on, actually, about a couple years ago, I moved out of that house, and moved into another house, and when I was moving through looking for boxes and stuff, I found that Christmas list. I wish I still had it to show you guys, but I don't have it anymore. But I did find it with the Alien 3 scribbled on it, and it was really interesting just to see that, and it brought back some of the memories that I'm sharing with you today. And by the way, I did actually pick up Alien 3 finally this year, so it kind of ties together in a way with my Christmas story. Alright guys, thanks for asking this question and inviting me to be part of this Retro Game Lounge holiday special. I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and just have a great New Year. Alright guys, bye!
Okay, and back here in the corner, just because, don't really have any other place to put it here, just maximizing space, we have my Sega collection. Sega sign at the top there, we got some Dreamcast, the fishing pole, we got Nights into Dreams. Complete in the box, we got Lethal Enforcers, got a little Sega Game Tips video from Post, exclusively from Post, Kids Cereals. Got an original Sega Genesis box, the Altered Beast Edition. Got some Sega CD32X games, we got some CDs, got some Genesis games, some Saturn games, some loose cards, we got some Dreamcast, little Saturn accessory down there, Virtual Cop, Dreamcast box. We got some of the other two. Let me get the camera back here so you can see the 3rd generation Genesis, the 2nd generation. Let's see, we got a 32X right there. Got a Sega Saturn. Sorry for the angle, guys. I'm just trying to give you the best shot I can. And that's my wall of Sega. And moving right along, we got the PlayStation 2, PlayStation, and Xbox 360 cabinet, kind of like the disc section of the collection, I guess you could say, all the stuff on CD and DVD, etc. We got some complete in box items up there. Let me move the light so you can see it. We got my Neo Geo arcade stick, limited edition, number 618 out of 5,000. We got a complete in box PS2. Got PS1 combo, little Sony controller, PS2 box, Time Crisis 2, Lara Croft memory card. Then we got my PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 original retail signs. The PlayStation 1 was actually part of a bigger cabinet, like a big black cabinet that retail stores would have to hold their Sony PlayStation games. A lot of you guys might remember that. It's in about a lot of big department stores. And the OG PlayStation 2 sign. Love that stuff. Then we got the collection, man. We got some Sony PlayStation 1. We got some big box. Absolutely love big box games. They're so much fun to collect. Like bigger artwork. It's like getting vinyl, instead of getting a CD. PlayStation 2 collection. You might see a lot of SNK right there. Big fan of the SNK series. And the PlayStation 2 actually had a lot of the kind of archive collections. A lot of those compilation discs where you can get a lot of really cool games. Got some OG Xbox there. Not really going for complete on Xbox, just kind of after the games that I really want. and I've got most of them already. A couple oddities in there, then down to Xbox 360, which goes all the way down to the bottom. Got a few accessories there in front. Got my Pip-Boy, complete in box. Got an Aliens Colonial Marines there. We got my Fallout Lunchbox, Vault Boy, little Resident Evil 4 chainsaw for the GameCube, I believe. PS2 box, little Splatterhouse statue. We got a little bit of everything over there.
Hey guys, my name's Christopher and I'm from the dcrediah channel all the way up here in northern Saskatchewan, Canada. Jimbo asked me, what was my most epic or most memorable Christmas ever? Well, I had a lot of Christmases. I was very, very blessed to have my family and my friends around a lot for all of them, well, most of them. And it's kind of hard to pick, but I did pick one of my most memorable Christmases ever. It's gotta be around 97. The Christmas we, as a family, my sister, my brother, myself, my brother and sister asked for an N64 for Christmas because that was hot. It was hot. And we were kind of getting tired of the old Super Nintendo, so we wanted something else. So we asked my dad. He said he didn't know if he could do it. He had other stuff to worry about, right? He had to worry about my siblings, my mom. He had 2 jobs, so paying rent, you know, the whole shebang, right? So we don't know if you're gonna get it, and we're cool about it. We're cool kids. We're like, you know what? We understand that my dad's working really hard, and you know, sometimes we can't afford it, right? So it was okay. So Christmas Day rolls around. We woke up early as usual, pestering my dad. Well, he gets up and we turn on some Christmas shows, and we're opening some gifts, and this is pretty good gifts. Got some wrestling figures I don't have anymore. Sucks. Pro wrestling figures. We got, like, I think I got some Power Rangers. My sister got a Barbie. I don't know, the usual Christmas, right? But after we're done all that, I think we're watching Christmas Vacation, and my dad goes, he's like, "Oh, I forgot one." You know, the surprise, right? And it's family. We're all like, my brother and sister, we were looking at each other like, "Could this be it? Could this be it?" Well, lo and behold, it was. It was an N64, regular N64 with the purple atomic controller, and we're like, "Oh, we're all so stoked. We're so happy." And then my dad, and it's the exact same one I have here, showed us the game that we got with it. We only had 2 controllers, but 3 of us, we could trade off. I still have the same box. I'm not going to show you the cart because it's seen better days. But the game that we got was Diddy Kong Racing, and I think it might have been 97, 98 maybe. But it was fairly new, and blew our minds. We played it so much that day, and then we got to Frosty Village and like Everfrost Peak and all that stuff, and we're like, my little brother at the time, he was just, I think he was like 5, he was like, "It's Christmas, it's a Christmas game," and it was like the coolest thing ever, because, well, if you play the game, there's a lot of Christmas stuff in it, and yeah, it was just one of the most memorable things ever. And around Christmas time, I still play this. I invite my sister over and my brother over, and they don't play as much games as me, but yeah, it's still one of my most memorable moments ever in Christmas, and it was just fantastic. But yeah, that was my most memorable Christmas ever. Thanks for checking this part of the video out. If you want to see more of this, just YouTube dcrediah and you'll find this. You guys rock. You too, Jimbo. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Crazy Kwanzaa, all that stuff. See you later.
And we move over here to kind of my little newsstand, which is kind of the second half of the Turbo collection. We've got my collection of Turbo Play magazines. Almost complete on this, guys. I've got quite a few. There's only a handful I don't have, including I've got some of the Turbo Force down here. And there's some later ones, Duo World. Got the Splatterhouse comic ad there. All kinds of great covers there. The Bonk, The Addams Family, Superstar Soldier, Bloody Wolf. Great stuff. And we move on down here. We got some great TurboGrafx reference manuals there. TurboGrafx 16 Secrets 1 and 2. The TurboGrafx 16 Encyclopedia. Gotta have that. Got the original Lords of Thunder VHS tape, which was a mail away. We got some of the retail tapes here. The video brochures for TurboGrafx. These were not available to private people, really, as far as I know. At least this one wasn't. This was supposed to be for retailers. Then we got my complete unboxed games. Many of them are actually sealed. Well, Sonic Spike, Final Lap, World Tennis, Sports TV Football, Alien Crush, Galaga. All kinds of great stuff.
Hey everybody, this is Mark the Game Shark here, and I just want to go over my most epic Christmas ever. And it was when I got this guy. The NES action set. This was the exact one that I had. This, not my exact one, but this is the one my parents bought me from back in the day. And I was so stoked when I got this thing. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna play Super Mario Brothers. And I remember I couldn't wait to hook it up, and my parents were like, you know, you have to wait until after we visit your grandmother, and then later on that night your father will hook it up for you. Well, we get back from my grandparents, and my dad has like no idea how to hook this thing to the TV. And I remember he tried hooking it into like the cable going out to the cable company. I'm like, what the heck's he doing here? So I had to contact my cousin, and he was like, yeah, you know, I'll be over the next day, which I was like, no, come over now. I need this thing hooked up. So luckily, my dad finally figured it out to hook it up, and it was a blast. Him and I used to play all night. We would play Super Mario Brothers, try and get as far as we can. I remember later on we ended up getting Legend of Zelda. Him and I would play that all the time. And it was such a blast. So yeah, so that is my most epic Christmas ever. So hope everyone has happy holidays and a happy new year.
And we can move right along to the portable section. My little portable shelf here. We got Mario doing a fantastic job holding up my Nintendo 3DS. Triforce Edition, of course. 3DS XL, that is. That is actually my sister's original Game Boy. I unfortunately don't have mine anymore, but she kept hers, and she was nice enough to donate to the collection. So thanks, sis. Appreciate that. And we got the Game Boy Collection. Let me get out of the light so you guys can see. Some Game Boy Advance games. Game Boy Color. A lot of old school ones. Got some fan favorites over here. Donkey Kong. Atomic Punk, which is basically just Bomberman. R-Type. R-Type DX. We got Wave Race. Got an international one here. Super Adventure Island 3, I believe. And that's the good thing about Game Boy, is that it's not region locked. Adventure Island, got Contra, Blaster Master Boy. This one's definitely not easy to find. 2 Ninja Turtles games, Blades of Steel, gotta have that. Bad and Rad, of course, you got Tetris, Cat Trap, a lot of people sleep on that one. Balloon Kid, which is basically just balloon fight. Wario Land 2, Wave Race, lots of good stuff. And we got the consoles over here. We got the NES, some of my favorites. Master Chief Xbox, we got some loose turbo stuff over there. We got some Sony PlayStation, a Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo 64. Which is great. My Donkey Kong poster up there. Good stuff.
Hey Jimbo, happy holidays, dude! Well, you asked me to share a favorite Christmas memory of a video game I got, or a video game system I received back when I was a kid. So I decided to go ahead and make one about one of my first handheld electronic games. Well, one of my first handheld VFD electronic games. Like a lot of kids back in the late 70s, early 80s, one of the things I really looked forward to was seeing the Christmas catalogs come out. Now, we had a Montgomery Ward store in our town, And that's where I saw most of the toys I got for Christmas. They usually had them on display there and everything. Well, I remember getting the Christmas catalog in the mail. I think it was in August or September or so when the catalog comes out. And as I'm scrolling through the catalog, I get back to the game section and bam! There it is. The Intex Galaxian 2 game. Now, I loved Galaxian in the arcade, so I thought it was really cool that they made a handheld version of this thing. I just had to have that. And lo and behold, Christmas morning, I unwrapped the Christmas presents under the tree and I got one. Awesome! I love this game. I mean, this thing is really, really cool. I like the sound effects too. Oh, flip it over, dummy. Awesome! Now, what's really cool about this game is it has actual scrolling playfield on it. The little guys can dive down just like the Galaxian arcade game. Plus, it has a 2-player mode, which is incredible. It's a lot of fun to play with my wife, and back then at the time with my friends. Really great game. The first one I've ever owned in my VFD collection. So, that was short and quick. Hope you have a really great holiday, Jimbo. And to all your viewers out there as well, everybody have a great Christmas, happy holidays, and even Star for the Pug is saying Merry Christmas. Catch you guys later.
Over here, let's see, we got the Killian's Irish Red sign because, well, you know, what's better when you're playing an arcade game than having a nice Killian's Irish Red beer. And we have my Konami Multicade. This is not an original arcade cabinet. This was released in the 2000s, sold at like Target and Walmart and stuff. Has an LCD in it, but it's really cool. You know, it's not an old circuit board. This is just a computer. It's not on right now, guys, because this thing actually makes a lot of noise. But you got all kinds of great games in here. You got Hyper Sports, you got Time Pilot, Shaolin Road, Jungler, you got Castlevania, Super Basketball, Blades of Steel, Contra, Frogger, Russian Attack, also known as Green Beret. You know, just absolutely amazing list of games here. Gyrus. Yeah. All kinds of good stuff in there. Scramble. A lot of fun to play. Then we move over here to the saddle where I ride the world. Just kidding. But this is basically what I'm looking at, guys, when I'm streaming, you know, on YouTube. This is my view. I'm playing the game on this. This is my Sony Wega 34-inch XBR. A lot of people, it's HDTV. Actually has HDMI inputs and runs 720p and 1080i. A lot of people consider this one of the best consumer tubes ever made. You know, because it's widescreen, offers a variety of inputs, great comb filter on this thing, handles high definition and low definition, or standard definition rather, extremely well. We've got my Laserdisc player down there, my Pioneer DVL 919, of course playing The Wizard with Fred Savage because it's so bad. And that's kind of what we do here. And we got my LCD, which is basically my monitor. There's the streaming setup computer, my Yeti mic. Yeah, and then we get all the cables on the floor because, well, that's what it looks like when you stream, guys. It's always a mess of cables. So we come over here to the NES Collection, the big cabinet. This is the Atlantic 1080. Holds 1,080 CDs. I don't know how many DVDs, but a lot. And it is absolutely perfect for collecting NES games because of the shelf depth. You know, it gives you a little bit of finger room here so you can actually get a hold of the game. And the shelves are absolutely the perfect size to collect NES games. If you like to keep them upright like I do, I basically just store them like a library, like books. Move the light over here so you guys can see a little bit better. Alright, so up top we got kind of the trifecta of the NES systems. We got the action set. Unfortunately, I don't have the one with the gray zapper, which is the one that I had, but that's okay. This one's close enough. Then we got the control deck. Official Nintendo Player's Guide edition. Gotta love that. I actually had that when I was young. A challenge set, later released, because you can tell because it's got the red banner, so they wanted to make it look like Super Nintendo. Super Mario Bros. 3. And some people might cry foul on this, but hey, this is a Nintendo release. This counts in my book. We got the Super NES Classic Edition and the NES Classic Edition. Absolutely had to have those up there. Got the Edge gamepad. My little Nintendo sign, which is in desperate need of LED work, because those things are failing. Got my Contra figures, complete in box there. Those are super cool. Little Simon Belmont perler art, little Fire Flower plant. And then we get down to the games. As I mentioned in previous years, I kind of have an unorthodox way of organizing these, but to me it makes sense. I basically organize them by publisher, just because I think it makes the collection look cooler. You know, a lot of the labels tend to be uniform sometimes from some of the publishers. And up on the top row we got the original Nintendo, the black boxes. I'm almost done, guys. I think I got one or two more that I don't have. The expensive ones, of course. And I'm trying to get all of them. The Legend of Zelda games. Still need to get the original Legend of Zelda Great Cart. I got the Adventures of Link one. Punch Out, both editions. See, Star Tropics, Dr. Mario, Dragon Warrior, Kirby, Tetris, all kinds of great stuff. Let's see, what do we got here? We got SNK. SNK all the way. I think that's Data East. Capcom. Got a couple Mega Man games in there. DuckTales. We got Jalico right here. A lot of people sleep on this. I hate that they put this label here for Bases Loaded. Like putting the publisher label instead of the game, but Bases Loaded 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is pretty tough to find. That was a very late release. We got LJN, the notorious LJN. Konami, love these. See, this is why I do it by publisher, guys. Look at the silver labels. You know, just one continuous string. Some of the best NES games ever made here, man. Gradius, Life Force, Jackal, Ninja Turtles, excuse me, Castlevania, Contra, Super C, Goonies 2, Russian Attack, man, the list just goes on and on. Got Taito, another great publisher. And of course, we have the Hudson Soft Collection. If I can get my stupid camera to focus, there we go. You might notice one's missing. That's because it is over here inside the NES, Adventure Island 3. A lot of great games coming from Hudson Soft. Got Sunsoft right next to him. Again, once again, absolutely fantastic publisher. Ultra, also known as Konami. The same thing. Just their way of getting around Nintendo's limit on games published per year. Paperboy, Godzilla, 8 Eyes, got some of the Tengen stuff. The Lolo series, got all 3 of those. Double Dragon. Some Milton Bradley games. Once again, see, all the labels match. So there's a method to my mayhem. Dragon Power, Go-Go 13. Some kind of random stuff down there. This is where it kind of thins out. You know, all the big publishers are up top. Ghoul School, Power Punch 2. The unofficial kind of spiritual sequel to Punch Out. Got kind of the overflow there. Got my little Nintendo bookends. Those were cool. Then we got the unauthorized games, the black labels, some of the gray carts, silver and gold ones, you know, all the bootleg stuff. And we got some of my complete in box games here for the NES. Again, starting with the black box, going for complete on that. We got cleaning kits, absolutely love those for cartridge systems, love collecting those. Got some Capcom, and look at this Konami sweep right here. Look at all that silver. You just tell me that's not awesome. That's freaking sweet. Carmen Sandiego, complete. There with the encyclopedia. Chiller. There on the end, my rarest NES game. Got the Ultra Collection. All kinds of great stuff. Kid Nicky, love that pink box. Jalico. Good stuff. So, one of my very favorite video game Christmas memories would definitely have to be Christmas of 1988. This would have been my second Christmas after I got my NES. I got it in August of 87, so I had the Christmas of 87 where I got, you know, Kung Fu and a bunch of other goodies, and 88 was like where, you know, I'd have over a full year with the NES, and the library, you know, itself, as far as the games that Nintendo and other publishers were offering, was really starting to take off, man. They were really starting to crank out the games. The first year was kind of slow. And basically, you know, I guess like a lot of you out there, I just gave mom and dad like a list. You know, they just wanted to know what video games I wanted, so I just, you know, picked up my Nintendo Power and basically just made a bunch of notes and just gave them a list. And as it turns out, 1988 actually happened to be one of the better years for the NES. I would say one of the best years as far as the caliber of video games that were being released. And the reason that this memory sticks out above all the rest mainly is because I basically got every single thing on my list, which is funny because, like, I kind of padded my list, you know, because I didn't think that I would get everything, so I added like, you know, 3 or 4 things that I really, really wanted, and like a handful of other things that I wanted enough, you know, to put on the list, but wasn't like dying to have. And as far as video games are concerned, I got every single NES game I asked for, which just absolutely blew my mind. This, you know, opening up this big box full of, you know, complete in box, you know, NES games, just absolutely blew my mind. And I've actually got the games that I got here. Obviously, these aren't the original games, but this is the stack that I got for Christmas that year. Unfortunately, I don't have a box for this one yet, but we got Metal Gear, which I've still never beaten to this day. Blaster Master, one of my all-time favorite NES games, man. I absolutely love this game. Jackal, one of the best Konami co-op games ever made. Not just on the NES, but I think it's up there in the top 10, man. This is the NES and Konami hitting on all cylinders. Life Force, just as good as Jackal, maybe even a little bit better, man. This is like, this in my opinion is like the perfect sequel, because it takes what Gradius did and it takes it one step further. Adds co-op, bigger levels, bigger bosses, you know, more power-ups, just everything is bigger and badder and harder and more fun. Plus the Konami code, which is just a lifesaver, pun intended. Then we got Milon's Secret Castle, and I actually used to say Million's Secret Castle, which is really weird. Like, I don't know why I pronounce it that way, because it's obviously Milon's, not Million's, but growing up, I always used to say Million's Secret Castle, and I didn't really get, you know, just how ridiculously difficult this game was as a kid. You know, I thought it was just hard. You know, I never actually finished. I don't even think I got really far in it, but I thought it was an absolutely amazing game. And as it turns out, this is my first Hudson Soft game. The first one I ever got, and kind of started my love affair with the Magic B, you know, with this amazing company that put out Bomberman and all these other absolute quality titles. And last but certainly not least, I'm sure a game a lot of you got for Christmas in 1988 or somewhere shortly thereafter. The one and only Contra, like the quintessential co-op / bro-op game on the NES. Like this really took co-op to the next level. This was something you talked about on the way to school, something you talked about at lunch. I mean, this was, you know, the discovery of the Konami code. You know, if you had Nintendo Power like I did when they gave you the 30 lives code, that was just like, that was amazing. You know, it actually made the game beatable, you know, to a little kid like me, and it was just awesome. Just played it again and again and again. I mean, it never got old getting to beat this game, and I'd always play with a friend. I would never play it solo. This game was made for 2 players. So, Christmas of 1988, man, I mean, look at this. This is incredible. I mean, these are some of the best games ever put out on the NES, in my opinion. I got them all, you know, in one big fat batch. A lot of Konamis, you know, in there. Like basically all but 2 are Konami games if you count Metal Gear, since Ultra is basically just Konami's secondary company. But that one, that was definitely a banner year in Jimbo's household as far as NES gifts were concerned. Then on to the secondary cabinet over here, we got some more NES complete in box games. Lolo trilogy. Got some Taito games. We got the Hudson Soft Collection. All of those over here. Got some random shit. Some really random stuff there. Pinbot. SNK. All the way. Love those. Double Dragon. TNC Surf. Got some of the LJN games, some of the Acclaim games. Kung Fu Heroes, love that game. Star Fox. Special thanks to my buddy Greg for hooking me up with that box. Some Milton Bradley games, some Sunsoft games. Then on to the Super Nintendo boxed games. Let's see, we got Raiden, Diddy Kong, or that's N64, but Diddy Kong Racing, UN Squadron, Super Adventure Island, Final Fight. Ghoul Patrol, the sequel to Zombies Ate My Neighbors. We got the Super Game Boy Small Box, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Saturday Night Slam Masters, Rival Turf, Super R-Type. Robocop vs. Terminator, that's the odd box right there. Got some cleaning kits, got some N64 games, some N64 cleaning kits. Down to the Wii collection, which I've said this many times on camera, guys, but the Wii is absolutely fantastic for compilations. I recommend that you, if you have a Wii or a Wii U, you absolutely jump on these. Got all kinds of great stuff. The SNK Arcade Classics, Metal Slug Anthology, every Metal Slug game ever made except Metal Slug 7, since that was on portable. Samurai Shodown Anthology, King of Fighters Collection, Look at that, Data East Arcade. I mean, this is great. Mad Dog McCree, the Gunslinger Pack, and all the Mad Dog McCree games. Just great stuff. We got some Wii U games down there. A gold N64 controller. We got some Game Boy boxes, some DS boxes. My very limited N64 collection, which is double stacked in there just because I'm running out of room. Need to get the end labels for those so I know what's what. Then we got my little Wii tower here, which is really cool because it's shaped like a Wii. Really neat. Has a little light. It goes on in there, so it's really cool. Kind of glows just like a Wii. You know, that little blue DVD door. Let's see, what do we got? Punch Out, Super Mario games, Skyward Sword, Donkey Kong Country Returns. Of course, we got a Wii. My Wiimotes. Got the Zelda one. We got Mario and Luigi. Then up top, we got some signage. My original Nintendo 64 sign, if my camera would focus, because yeah, it doesn't like bright light apparently. My original GameCube sign, local buy. We got some big box stuff up here. I've got, basically with the exception of Earthbound, I've got all the big box stuff for Super Nintendo. Arkanoid, that's NES, but we got Mario Paint, the Super Game Boy big box, Lethal Enforcers. That's good stuff. Bomberman, like I showed you, is over there. That's the other big box. And that's, other than Earthbound, that's more or less all she wrote there. The Super NES box, the Model 2. Got a Nintendo 64 complete in box. We got the Super Nintendo. And we got the Super Set. Which there really isn't any difference between those two when you look at it. I mean, it's the same thing. You know? You got the two controllers and you got Super Mario World. It's, you know, more or less the same thing. I guess they just rebranded it. Then you got the control set, you know, which is just the system, one controller, no games. And you've got my Super NES collection. Again, not anywhere close to going for complete on this, guys. I'm just going for the games that I want. I've got a lot of the heavy hitters from Nintendo up there. You know, Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario All-Stars, Mario Kart, both editions of Super Mario World, the pack-in and the public, Super Punch-Out, Pilot Wings, of course. Let's see, we got some shooters here. What do we got? Supernova. We got Mortal Kombat 3, World Heroes. We got some SNK stuff right there. Samurai Showdown, World Heroes 2. Carrier Aces. Got Saturday Night Slam Masters. Excellent freaking game from Capcom. We got the Super Star Wars games. What do we got? Joe and Mac. That's a great game. Cutthroat Island. I actually really like that one. What do we got? Sunset Riders. We got Ride and Trad. Absolutely love that one. King of Monsters, King of Monsters 2, Final Fight, Combat Tribes, Rival Turf, Brawl Brothers, King of Dragons, Super Double Dragon, Magic Sword. Man, the list just goes on and on. Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Super Bomberman 1 and 2, Castlevania Dracula X, my only repro cart, but just because I wanted to play the game. Super Castlevania 4, Tetris 2. Let's see, what do we got? Hammerlock Wrestling, Power Rangers, Super Pinball. We got Super Valis 4, Super Chase HQ, used to have that arcade game. Darius Twin, get the camera down there so you can actually see. All kinds of great stuff. A lot of great shooters on the Super NES. A little mishmash of N64 controllers down there. And I guess that about does it for the lounge tour. Let me give you one last pan around here. So you can check out the footprint of this place. Okay, almost forgot that, my super system sign. Oh, and of course, almost forgot about these. My little Hot Wheels Nintendo cars. Those are kind of cool. All the Super Mario Brothers, Dr. Mario, Mario World, Mario Kart, New Super Mario Brothers. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so I guess we can see if the Magic Snap's gonna work again this year. I don't know, it might end up somewhere crazy. Every time we do this, we're kind of risking a rift. It could bounce into a star or a supernova or something. I don't know, but let's see if we can get it warmed up. All right, let's go to the arcade right about now. Whoa. Hey, wait a minute, this isn't the arcade. Huh. Man, I gotta get this thing fixed. Well, I guess while we're here, I can show you something new I've been working on for the majority of 2017. This is what I call the collectibles room. Just kind of all my other things that I collect, not video game related, and, well, I love collecting stuff, what can I say? Give you a quick pan around the room, then we'll go into detail. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I guess we can start over here with my Masters of the Universe collection. Masters of the Universe, as I've said on camera a couple times, was the very first thing that I collected when I was a little kid. It was like kind of my first love of collecting, was just these figures, man. These figures from Mattel, when they absolutely just blew my mind as a little kid. You got the He-Man reissue up there. That's not an original one, unfortunately, guys, but it's made to look like it. But now it's like a 2000 or 2001 re-release. Whiplash, however, that is original. That is an OG Masters of the Universe figure, my only one. And then we got the commemorative series, the limited edition. We got He-Man. Sorry for the glare there, guys. Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, Battle Armor He-Man, Evelyn, Tila, Stratos. Still quite a few more to get. You know, I left myself some room to grow. Left some space on the wall. Then we got the new Classics line, which I absolutely love, which is kind of like the Masters edition of the original figures, where they just kind of stick to the old formula, but they update it. Got He-Man, we got Mossman. Loved Mossman. Then we got these, which are, I think, called the Filmation line, where they basically put out the figures to look exactly like they did in the cartoon, which, if you notice, if you look at the original one, he doesn't look exactly like he did in the cartoon. But this one, he's like spot on accurate for how he looked in the cartoon. If I can get the stupid camera to focus. Come on, camera. Yeah, like He-Man, Beastman. Got the 2002 edition of He-Man. We got Skeletor. We got the little guys. These little like G.I. Joe size figures from Super 7. Skeletor and He-Man. We got a couple other action figures over here. We got Slave Leia, even though it says Princess Leia Organa Jabba's prisoner. They pretty much banned this figure, so just got one for historical purposes. We got my one G.I. Joe that I got at a garage sale for $1. Yeah, pretty good deal. Let's see, we got Molar versus Skeletor, which is just a little robot chicken thing that they actually turned into an actual figure, which I think is sweet. A little kind of shorty He-Man versus Skeletor. MOTUS, Motussle, I guess, which is just Master of the Universe and Muscle, which is just Mattel kind of putting two of their franchises together. We got my E.T. TV tray, which I've had since I was a little kid. You know, it's one of the few collectibles that actually survived my childhood. Then we got my lunchbox collection. I absolutely love collecting lunchboxes. Most of these have the thermos in them. Obviously, I'm not going to open them, so they'll take forever. But we got Pac-Man, we got Thundercats. Those two are metal. We got some plastic ones here from Aladdin and Thermos. We got Ninja Turtles. We got Silverhawks. Of course, I had to put that next to Thundercats since they are in the same universe. Finally, we get confirmation on that. We got Transformers. We got Mask, once again, in the same universe. We got Gem, because she's truly outrageous. We got G.I. Joe. We got some Big Trouble in Little China figures. We got Egg, R.I.P., and Wang. Skeleton Warriors. Love that cartoon series, man, in the 90s. Definitely like the best, like most metal intro to any cartoon series ever. Then we got the continuation of the Masters of the Universe collection. As you can see, I've got a lot of Castle Grayskulls. I don't exactly remember how that happened, but I got a Snake Mountain and a Castle Grayskull like together for like $20 with a crap load of figures, and one of them I think my parents found for me. I think it was that one at a thrift shop. I don't remember how I got the third one, honestly. It just kind of happened. But yeah, maybe I'll trade that to a fellow collector someday. Find it a good home. Of course, we got Snake Mountain over there. Got Skeletor keeping an eye on things. He-Man with his incredibly limp sword. Keeping an eye on Castle Grayskull. All the accoutrements are inside there, guys. Let me bring the light over here so you guys can see. Okay. Then we got my Master Universe lunch boxes. Both of them. Metal, complete with a thermos. we got my awesome merman statue, which was a gift from my good friend Savage Matt, co-host of Dirtflix. Absolutely love that dude. It's so cool. Thank you for that. Then we got some loose Master of the Universe figures. We got Stratos there on the little, I can't remember what that thing's called. It's something RAM or something, but it's got the little missile that shoots. Little transport there. Of course, we got He-Man on Battle Cat. Gotta have that. Got Skeletor on, what's it, Panther, whatever his name is. Got Faker, Merman, Buzz-Off, Stinkor, the leech dude, who's like the horde guy. Got Trapjaw riding that giant praying mantis. Got some muscle figures in there, the old school trash can, if you guys remember those. Got some just loose accessories. We got another Battle Cat and Panther, or whatever his name is. Some extra lunch boxes. Then over here, up top, we've got my Tales from the Crypt collection. I'm an avid Tales from the Crypt collector. We got some of the OG comic books here, not from the 50s, guys. These are the repros in the 70s and in the 90s. Tales from the Crypt Keeper, Search for the Lost Tales board game. Got the little mini graphic novel re-release that they did just a few years back. Some other EC Comics collected editions. They put out all kinds of stuff, Weird Science, the companion Shock Suspense Stories, Tales from the Crypt, all kinds of stuff. The little Crypt Keeper candelabra, which is really cool. It actually lights up, you know, like he's reading the actual book for you. My collection of Tales from the Crypt Keeper figures, I have all of them. All of the standard figures, at least. Got both Crypt Keepers up there. Let's see, who do we got? Frankenstein, the zombie. It says the Frankenstein, that's funny. Gargoyle, the vampire, the mummy, the werewolf. I got two of the googly eyes. Those are the hardest thing to find. There are a couple little balls, little like spongy balls. Spongy balls. Little you know, things that go with this. I think there's a Crypt Keeper one. I think there's like a werewolf one. I don't have those yet, but I'm still on the lookout for them. Turn on the light here. There we go. Light this place up a little bit. Then we got my Mad Balls collection, man. Used to love these as a kid, and I'm so glad that they're still putting these out. They're still releasing editions of these every year, or every couple of years at least. We got the 6 series. Those are really cool because you can squeeze them and like the dude's brains popping out of his head or his eyeball or something like that. And Mad Balls, the new one, Series 1, first edition. Got both Mad Balls lunchboxes, complete with the thermos. Not easy to find. Little Mad Balls folder. Bash Brain, formerly called Crackhead. He used to be pink, actually. So yeah, I actually had a ball named Crackhead when I was a kid. How cool is that? And we got my Sideshow Collectibles Billy doll from the Saw Legacy, which is, this doll is actually made from the original molds used to make the Billy doll for the movie. So it is a 1-to-1 replica. It is an exact copy of the doll they used in the movie, and it's actually voice activated, where if you talk to it, it will actually respond like, you know, I want to play a game, or something like that. It really freaks people out when you set it on the couch there and they walk in and talk like, hello, and then the doll's talking to them. Oh yeah, good times. Alright, swing the camera around here. And we got the Garbage Pail Kids collection. So I've got 3 out of the 4 posters of the first and second series. We got 1 and 2 there, and we got 2B. I'm missing 2A. What's funny was I had 2A, and I somehow lost it when I moved. I was really pissed off about that, but I will be adding that back to the collection soon, so no worries there. It's really cool, you know, all the 1A and 1B, it's got the aliases. You know, you got, let's see, Looney Lenny, Wacky Jackie. It's really neat, you know, 2 cards, you know, really, it's really just Topps being cheap. You know, they're using the same artwork and just slapping a different name on it, but for collecting purposes, that's super cool. Then we got my little display stand here with all my Garbage Pail Kids memorabilia. We got the new Funko vinyl figures, which are like little mini figures. There's Blasted Billy, aka Atom Bomb. Got the Donald Dumpty and Hillary Billery. Love those. Love the sense of humor these guys have. An original 4 series box. They still do put out these cards, guys. Topps still puts out new stuff every year. And I always make it a habit to get one of the new boxes when they come out. You know, Apple Pie in Your Face, the brand new series, the all new series, 2014 series. We got some original boxes down there. We got the Garbage Pail Kids stickers. Some of the card boxes. We got the folders. That Roy Bott one there I actually had when I was in 1st grade. is my go-to folder. The Atom Bomb one, of course. And we got some other really cool toys here. We got some buttons. Got a complete box here. This was never opened, actually. I opened it just to open up the display here, but it's got the original box that it came in underneath it, which is really cool. Got the Garbage Pail Kid, basically like the compendium of, I guess, the first handful of cards that they did, where each one, you know, it's got the original artwork and stuff, so you can see it in big size. So we got a card collector's case. I actually had one of these when I was a kid. That's where I kept all my Garbage Pail Kids cards. We got some tacky snappers. They merchandised the shit out of this series, man. It was really cool. We got zipper pulls, we got some bouncy balls, we got some puffy stickers. Remember those, man? Remember puffy stickers? Used to love those things. Little keychains there. Yeah. Posters. And along with the retail boxes that I get every year, I also get a complete set. I just go on eBay and find somebody who's got a complete set of cards, and I add them to my binder. Of course, you gotta have the original Garbage Pail Kids binders. And the 30th anniversary, you know, you gotta have these. Got my big boy Atom Bomb down there. Some loose cards, some loose posters. Let me give you one last pan around the room here. Just back this light up so you can see. There's Masters of the Universe. Tales from the Crypt. We got Mad Balls. Just pan around the room here. And the Garbage Pail Kids collection. Okay. So, I guess we should try this snap again and see if we can get it to actually work. Man, hope it doesn't put me outside in the cold or something. But I guess we'll see if it works. So, alright. Take me to the arcade right now. Alright, wow. We actually got to the right place. Alright, so let's take a look at the arcade. There's a new addition right there. Gotta have an arcade open sign, right? You know, you gotta tell everybody, hey, the arcade's open, come on in. Let's pop in here. It's going to get a little bit noisy, guys, so I'll step up my voice so that everybody can hear me, hopefully. I'll give you a quick pan around the room before we go into detail. Alright. Well, I guess let's start right over here. We got some new additions to the collection. Got Raiden, king of arcade shooters, man. The original bullet hell. Still one of the measures of skill. Super cool. Got Kagikai, a game I remember fondly from my youth. Really fun game, really tough game actually. Kind of a cool boxing game. Just kind of beat the shit out of the other guy. Got a recent addition, we got Solar Warrior. One of my rarest arcade games. You don't see too many of these. Really fun game actually though. You start out as like, you know, just like kind of a little Contra run and gun. Then the next level, you're like in space, like a Gradius shooter. Speaking of shooters, you got Twin Eagle, man. Some co-op helicopter freaking sweetness. This game was actually kind of a milestone because it was one of the first to use CD sampling in the music. It's got kind of a catchy soundtrack, you know, with some ripping guitars and stuff. Really cool shit. Really fun game. Look at that, Revenge Joe's Brother. Who the hell is Joe? And we got my little TV up there doing the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Because you gotta have that. You gotta have Lou Albano. Oh yeah, do the Mario, baby. Do it. And we got my little pub table over here with a couple of stools where my guests and myself can enjoy a little drink. You know, maybe some pizza or something like that. Kind of take a break from the arcade game playing and hang out. I get asked this question a lot, guys, as far as like how I have all my stuff set up. I basically have it on a bunch of remote switches that turn on and off the outlets, so when I turn them on and off here, it actually kills the entire outlet. So in the case of a power surge or something like that, the entire outlet is being turned off. And you just kind of go down the list here, and I've got about 2 or 3 games per switch. You know, just kind of wait a couple seconds before you turn on each one. Don't want to overload it. Alright, so let's move right along. We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4-player original Konami cabinets. One of the jewels of my collection. This one definitely gets a ton of gameplay when guests come over. Everybody remembers this game fondly in 1989. And the line to play this thing was absolutely insane. Such a cool game, dude. Then we got SNK POW. A lot of folks like this one. A lot of folks remember the NES game, which was not co-op, and that's absolutely terrible, man. POW is meant to be co-op. Really super fun game. And I love it when you just hit people and they just go flying. It's awesome. This is a new edition. We got Final Fight. One of the best, some people say the best, beat 'em up ever made. You know, kind of Capcom's entry to the beat 'em up genre. Such a freaking sweet game, man. Like the intro there, Mike Hagar, like the most jacked mayor ever. Love it. Absolutely love it. Replaced some buttons on this one. Some of them weren't working too well, so we got them working. I know. A yellow button. It's supposed to be red. Hey, we ran out of red. We'll change it again. Alright, so this is a new edition. We got my Tecmo New Game sign up there. That's cool. Really dug that one. And we have my row change machine. My row changer, which does actually work. Basically, we have this rigged onto the change return switch. So when you hit this, ta-da! You get $2 worth of tokens. Got some standard, what is it, 0.900 tokens, I think. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. And of course, we got a little cup holder up here. There we go. Got some spare keys in there. You got to keep things around. We got Chuck E. Cheese token cups. Got a little stack of those for my guests, so you can keep track of your tokens. Then we got Golden Axe 2, The Revenge of Death Adder. Monitor recently serviced by my man Arcade Buffett, and it looks like $1 million. The camera is not even doing close to doing this justice, guys. This monitor looks incredible. When you take it to a guy who really knows how to redo monitors, man, cap them, tweak them, get the color balance and the white balance right, it makes all the difference in the world. Look at that control panel. Absolutely beautiful. The previous owner did a lot of resto work on this. You know, the side art, I know you can't see it, but the guts of it look like it's brand new on the inside of the cabinet. Power supply and everything. Such a cool game. Again, this one gets an absolute ton of play in the arcade. A lot of people love to play this one. 4-player action. Everyone's like a little unique character. Very, very fun game. My only Sega cabinet, too. Move over here to the other side. We got Double Axle. My racing game for the arcade. Little monster truck racing action. That's a lot of fun. Really cool. You know, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. That's a really neat game. We got Black Tiger. So no, it says Romstar up there, but if you look close, Capcom. This is basically the prequel to Magic Sword, ladies and gentlemen. The prequel, sidequel, whatever you want to call it. Very similar gameplay if you look at it, even though it's 1-player, not 2-player like Magic Sword, but it's kind of exists sort of in the same universe. A lot of fun too. Really tough game. Then we got Konami Aliens. Once again, this one gets a ton of gameplay. A lot of folks love this. A lot of folks didn't even know this game existed. I actually remember playing this in the arcade. I loved it. You know, as I wasn't old enough to see the movie when this came out, but I was old enough to play the game, and to me that was like the next best thing. This was the first arcade cabinet I ever bought for $100. Man, I'll buy that for $100. What a deal. Then, this is a new one. We got the Neo Geo System SNK featuring the 161-in-1 multi-card. We basically got about 99% of the SNK library. Let's pick a game here. What should we do? What should we do? Should we do some Metal Slug? Alright, how about, let's do Metal Slug 3 Plus. How about that? Just pick your game, give it a sec to fire up. Presto Changeo. There it is. Recently rebuilt monitor, recently retuned. Look how beautiful that looks, man. It's amazing that that's a tube. Love the Metal Slug series, man. Absolutely love it. Then we got Silkworm. Mark the Game Shark, one of his favorite games in the arcade. We still haven't beat this one. A lot of you guys probably remember this from the NES. You got one guy in the Jeep, one guy in the choppers, you got one guy in the turf, one guy in the air. Really cool co-op game, really tough game too, man. Really cool stuff. We got my other TV up there playing some Beavis and Butthead. That one's set up for VHS, the other TV's set up for DVD. Got a little collection of tapes over here. Got some Beavis and Butthead, a lot of hair metal stuff, man. Some kind of 80s metal stuff. I kind of keep that in the rotation. Show you a little shelf. I got a little neon LED strips. They are color changing, just as an FYI, guys, but I keep it pink because, well, 80s is pink. Got some Beavis and Butthead tapes, G.I. Joe, Street Fighter, Ninja Turtles. We got some game tapes, Master of the Universe, Nightmare on Elm Street, Legend of Zelda DVDs. Super cool, man. We try to keep it legit up here. My arcade sign, my game room sign. There you go, a little Legend of Zelda going on up there. Yep, the best part of Friday. I'll give you another quick pan around the room here. Well, another year has come and gone here on Retro Game Lounge. I want to thank all of you so much for stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed this annual holiday special and tour. I want to give a very, very, very special thanks to everyone out there in YouTube who submitted a video to be part of this annual holiday special. It's always nice as a content creator, but also as a fellow collector, to work with other content creators and collectors. It's just absolutely amazing. We have one of the best communities out there, and it's just such a privilege to be part of it. Again, thank you everyone so much for stopping by, and I guess I'll see you next year.